flag is there. Our clipboards are there. So we're going to have to pretend we have a flag today, okay? And so I'm going to say the flag is right there in the corner, that speaker. Okay? So let's get started. And if you could all join me in the pledge, I would greatly appreciate it. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the
Flag of the state of New Mexico,
to see a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. And for our land acknowledgement, we actually have the author of our land acknowledgement here this morning. So back me up. We recognize that Sandoval County is located. Oh, sorry, my bad. We'll start over. Oh, and Greg Bennett's here. Hey, Greg Bennett! Yay!
And there's Jeannie.
All right, so our land acknowledgement. Please stand for the land acknowledgement. We recognize that Sandoval County is located on the ancestral land of indigenous people. We acknowledge and honor our land caretakers and commit to retain and advocate for the traditions and cultural knowledge indigenous people have practiced since time immemorial. So thank you, have a seat. How about that election?
It's getting better.
It's getting better. It's getting better. So, welcome to the Democratic Party of Sandoval County's second Saturday event. I'm Alex Pyland, your county chair. We're meeting in person at the Two Cheese Moderno Italian restaurant at 1908 Wellspring Avenue in the glorious town of Rio Rancho, or city of Rio Rancho. Thanks to everyone for attending in person. And please don't forget the Two Cheese during the week, on the weekends when we're not meeting here, and for yummy holiday treats. A couple years ago during COVID, I bought cookies here and cookie dough, and it was fabulous. So keep that in mind. Let's see. So we're so happy and grateful for the meeting place and the staff. Please make sure to tip your wait staff. We really appreciate them being here for us. Are there any executive committee members here? Please raise your hand, executive committee members. And thank you so much for your service. For those of you who don't know, the party is volunteer run and we need more volunteers. And boy, was that evident on Tuesday. Let's see. So who else do we have here? I don't see elected officials. They're recovering. They really are. I heard Bernie McKenna went out of town. Oh, here comes Carl Workstead. We're going to have to give him a big round of applause when he comes in. Carl, hey, Michelle! Michelle, thank you for coming. Wonderful. We'll just wait 1 second because Carl's coming in the door. Yay! Carl is wonderful to see you all here. So, I also want to tell you, if you called me on Wednesday, I didn't answer the phone.
Good.
I just didn't. I took my mom and dad's call and my son's call. That was it. So I'm going to ask the candidates if they would like to address the group, and then we'll get started on talking about the analysis. And there's no pressure. If you're not feeling up to it, that's fine. But let's start with Michelle. So Michelle, you guys, this woman is amazing. Incredibly scrappy. And the last time she spoke to us, I just giggled when she said she zip-tied her signs to Jason Harper. Oh, that was brilliant. Oh, here she is.
Thank you. So I wanted to come up and tell you guys, thank you for everything you did and for all your hard work, and thank you for your support. It was definitely a roller coaster. It was my first time ever even entering the political world in this sense. So only one time before I had volunteered to help a campaign, and it was for one event. So everything that I did was new and a brand new experience to me. So let's say I know what to do next and what not to do next, and I learned tons and tons of things. So I do want to say that this isn't the end of my trail. This is just the beginning, and I definitely want to take what I've learned and things that I've accomplished so far, especially like New Mexico winds are not nice with our signs, and all kinds of stuff to take on to the next time that I run. I do hope and choose and intend on rerunning in 2 years. So I definitely think that I can bring what needs to be grown, and especially not being 9 months pregnant at the time of the election will help too when it comes down to door knocking and not being out of breath. So I'm excited to see what the future has, and thank you guys for all of your support, and I'm so excited to keep moving forward.
So we need to save Michelle's signs. John Barnum, for those of you who don't know, was like the sign guy. He put them up, he took them down, he built the mega signs we had with different candidates on there. It was fabulous. So, next up, Greg Bennett. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do want to say thank you very much to everybody out there. I'm not going to say Greg Bennett, I'm running for county commissioner, so I'm going to stop that for a while. I too am not done. We're going to continue on doing something. I don't know what yet, but we're going to do something to help this. Without all the volunteers, everybody here, I wouldn't have been able to do this at all. And it really starts with Alex and Chris. Thank you very much. They saw a fool who said, "Yeah, sure, why not? I'll run." And they said, "Well, we gotta do something for this shtick. So okay, let's go." And they helped me out quite a bit and taught me everything I know, which is not very much. Anyway, I just want to say thanks very much for everybody that put in time or effort or money or whatever you did, even good hopes. That was great. Thank you very much, and we'll see you sometime soon.
So, Greg, just so you know, I've got something for you to do.
I know. And we're going to talk about
She
that.
and I need to talk. Okay.
We're going to talk about that.
And so last but certainly not least is Carl Reichstick.
Thanks, Alex, and thank you all so very much. We knocked lots and lots of doors. We made lots and lots and lots of phone calls, and we did lots and lots and lots of great events. And that's a testament to Alex, the whole county party, Haley, who worked on my campaign, John's wonderful signs, and of course the just incredible work that Bonnie Lee put into everything. It was pretty hard and really not the results we thought we were going to get. So I will be involved in some way in this community for a long time to come. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet.
I have plans for you too.
Okay, I'm sure. Alex has plans for everybody, so I'll talk to her. And just thank you all so very much. It's been fun getting to know so many of you, and I think this county, is going to be in really good hands, and we're going to keep making really great progress here because of all of the hard work that we've seen. So thank you all again.
Thank you.
So, yeah, the last time I saw our candidates, these three candidates, I thought we were winning. So it was, I had to take a couple of days to just kind of sky down from that. Let's see if I can get this. do this. Whoops. Look at it, there we go, all right.
Yes.
Yay, sound people.
Understand those things.
Check. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How's that? We're good? Okay. So, thank you very much. So I just saw Peter Kohal come in and hi Peter, thank you. Peter's on our data team with Joel Wadsworth and Steve Conrad, who's not here right now, but yay data team. Because we're going to use their information to plan strategically for our next election. Maybe we want to shut that door. Do we want to tell everybody? Thanks.
We are broadcasting.
I don't know. Should this be secret? We are on Facebook, so how secret is it, right? I do want to say, and I see Alexis here, and I know she worked on her campaign. The last I heard, Charlotte Little was winning. Is she still?
She's ahead by 30 points, and they're pretty statistically sure the guy can't make up the difference.
You can't make up the difference.
Yeah.
All right. So that's wonderful. Charlotte Little's district is just the other side of our county line. It's literally right there. So that is a great win for Sandoval County also, right? And you all heard Pamela Herman. So what I'm about to talk to you about, I want to thank Peter for this because he put this together. He compiled these data for us. I guess it was the Royal Week, right? With some guidance from Joel. So let's see. So first off, I just want to mention there was no red wave. And there really was no red wave in New Mexico, right? And I also want to acknowledge that this is preliminary information. None of this information is official. It won't be certified till the end of the month, and then we don't know when it'll be uploaded into our database, but we're aiming for sometime in January to have a little more in-depth information, but we don't know when yet, because we don't know how difficult it's going to be to compile it, but we have plans in place. So we are going to compile some quantitative data. We have been, thanks to Judy Gordon and Ann Kepley, who I think is out in Facebook Landia right now, have been compiling qualitative data and interviews of candidates, and Judy Gordon has called those lessons learned. So all the candidates, we will reach out to you and ask you for advice on how we can help you and what we can do to improve in the future to help other candidates. So I keep hearing that the Democratic Party of Sandoval County has helped candidates more than any other county in the state, and that's because of the information we have from Judy and Ann, right? So, and we believe that the key to getting quality candidates is to support them. I mean, it's not rocket science. So if we step up and help our candidates, we'll get more people say, well, this isn't such a big deal, it's not so hard, I'm not alone. And so that's what we're aiming for. I do want to mention there is one campaign manager in our entire county. Raise your hand, Chris. He is big. So I've been kind of planting the seed with Chris, trying to figure out a way to grow more campaign managers here in our county. And so Haley's on deck, and we're hoping to find a couple more people on deck so that we can, serve this need. It's an important need. There were candidates, Michelle and Ramon in particular, who.
That's where our signs
Yes,
went.
that's where they are. They will be thinking. Right on. Yes. Thank you, Linda. Linda, I'll give you a chance. Do you want to speak now?
Well, you guys know I'm sorry for coming late. I do apologize. Naomi called me on a though. I did go play pickleball this morning because I missed it so bad, and I'm going to do it tomorrow. Thanks.
Don't stand for the speakers.
Hey, I apologize coming in late. As you can see, I brought some signs, and I'm sorry. I really just came. Obviously, I want to hear what's going on, but I have to tell you guys that I can't thank you enough. Honestly, it's not just being there and making the phone calls and the financial support that so many people have given me, which I appreciate. It's all been spent on signs, getting a mailer out. I appreciate it, all of that stuff. But honestly, I don't even know how to put it in words. It's like getting together these times, and it's like being rejuvenated. It's like getting so frustrated and so tired and so kind of upset. I'm like, I can't believe that. Isn't it enough that I've just been doing the job for 4 years? Isn't that enough to get me the job again? And it's not. And Alex and Chris and all of you guys, you told me that, and you're right. It wasn't enough. I had to get out there. I had to send those mailings. I had to get people to help me. And you guys were it. And seeing you guys again, honestly, like those times that we'd go door knocking or meet for an event, that's what got me to be like, okay, I can do this another couple weeks. I can do this another, and that's what I did. Just every couple weeks, But so I don't know how to put that in words. I'm not doing it well. But these elections obviously are not won by just us individuals. It takes everybody. I can't tell you. I'm seeing it now. Honestly, these guys have told me all along, but I'm really just seeing it, that it's just not enough to be there doing the job. You've got to get them. And we can't do it alone. So I can't thank you enough, each and every one. And I'm so sad that some of us didn't make it. Greg, Carl, I can't believe that some of us didn't make it because all of us were out there. And I can't tell you though, and Michelle, everything you guys were doing helped us, right? And I'd like to think that and everything we did. So each district helped the county get it, right? And then we helped our state get it. So even if all of us didn't get to the finish line where we wanted to be, each and every one of it is so important. And I'm probably repeating maybe what you said, but I don't know. I'm not saying, sorry, I'm not doing it well. I'm not doing it well at all, but I can tell you, I'm grateful. And even throughout it, it didn't just take winning to be grateful and not to be super religious, but all of you guys have been in my prayers, and I'm sorry that, like I said, I haven't been reaching out right away. It's literally taken a couple days just to even be like, I just went right back into it because I was at work and just doing the job, because it's easier to do that than to actually face all this stuff. Going around picking up all these signs is bittersweet because. But anyway, you do it, Alex. You do it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for picking up those signs. So, let's see, where was I? There was no red wave. These data come from the Secretary of State's website. It's not yet certified. So let's talk about up ballot. We won. We won every congressional seat in the state. CD2, CD3 are all blue. Yes. Yes. But Gabe Vasquez is going to continue to have a fight because it was so close. All of our candidates who won by such a close margin, they're going to have to continue to work. The election cycle, unfortunately, does not stop for them. And it's scary. It's scary. So, let's see. We won the governor's seat again. As my friend Mitchell Friedman often says, the best governor in the country. Right? Of course, Howie Morales, our Lieutenant Governor won, Attorney General seat, Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia-Richard, Attorney General Raul Torres, State Auditor Joseph Maestas, Land Commissioner Stephanie Garcia-Richard, Secretary of State, what a critical position, Maggie Olson, and Sandoval County's very own Laura Montoya for state treasurer. She is the first woman treasurer in the state of New Mexico, and she is the first Latina treasurer in the entire United States. So she's going to teach the rest of the country what we already know, right? Latinos are good with money.
Muscle.
But she's amazing.
Carry out.
So, Carl, I'm sorry, we did lose our district court judge position. Sandoval County delivered, but not by enough. Valencia County was the drag, okay? And Carl lost by a mere 560 votes. That's in 3 counties, guys. 560 votes. These are the races where I went home, fell asleep election night, but I woke up the morning after and I went, what? It just hurt, and I think a lot of you also feel the same way. So Judge Reifsteck, run again, we'll work harder. For our countywide candidates, Linda Gallegos won at 52%. 52% is good, but it's just a little too close for me. I was like, wait, what? Yay, she won, but 52%, right? Probate judge Ed Lovato, 100%. He was unopposed. I love it. So I'm thinking they're having problems finding qualified candidates. What do you think? So magistrate judges Delilah Baca, Ann Maxwell Chavez, and Ken Eichwald all won at 100%. They were Here's a strange one. Oh, honey, you don't have to. Here's the strange one. Sheriff Jesse James Casals won by 53%. We know Jesse had a lot. We know he had a lot of crossover, right? And how do we know that? We don't have any data to point to that. It's anecdotal. But hey, Mitch, where are you? I know I saw you come in. Okay. Whose sign did you have in your yard? Oh, there you go. And who here has driven down Idalia this election cycle?
Right.
The flag guy, he had Jesse's sign up.
Right.
So how often did you see Jesse and Ronchetti signs? A lot. Yes. And did you see any Jesse and caucus? They did help Kathleen Cates win. So you know what that was. Let me back up a minute. Yes.
Why would the legislative caucus not support a Democratic candidate?
They don't think it's winnable.
Oh.
They don't think it's winnable based on the districting and the voters in that district. Okay. So let me back up a minute. There are 8 New Mexico legislative seats in our county. There's 8. Okay. We have 5. Did you guys know that? We have 5. Susan Herrera in HD 41, she was uncontested. HD 43, Christine Chandler, she was uncontested. HD 50, Matthew McQueen, he was uncontested. Derek Lente, HD 65, uncontested. And Kathleen Cates flipped the seat. She added a seat to a supermajority in the House, and she won at 51%. 51%, guys. That district was worked so hard. Haley, how many votes did she win by? 280. No, I have 197. I have 197. Yes, 197 votes. Oh, that reminds me. I have some of this data. If you guys want to see this, I can pass it out. At least pass it. So 100. Mitchell wants me. Yes.
We didn't
Oh, yeah, and, well, I was gonna get to that, because, but, hold on. So, 197 votes. So, this was one of the best organized and hardest working districts in the county, and she won by 197 votes. No, what?
No, it's, what was the vote? 292.
292?
Yeah.
Talk to Peter, he's right next to you.
Okay, you didn't get the late absentees that got counted on Thursday.
Oh, 292, she won by 292, okay, all right, still,
That's so much better.
it's still,
Landslide.
Yeah, still.
it's 95 votes, it's even more, but it's just not enough, and it's scary, yes.
I feel like I misspoke when I talked about Charlotte's campaign because she didn't win by 30 points. She won by 30 votes.
She won by 30 votes.
Oh.
So this is what we know, right? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway. So 51% is not enough for me, okay? So Ramon Montano, he earned 46% of the votes, 1,026 votes he lost by. The Republican Party of New Mexico paid a lot of money to attack him. They wanted that seat, and Alexis is shaking her head, yes, both of us live in his district. And we were getting at least one mailer a week for like 2 months. They spent a lot of money, and it was nasty. Ramon had been the president of the New Mexico school boards and of the Rio Rancho school boards for a couple terms, and they attacked him and they said that he was progressive politics. He hadn't been in the legislature. He had a progressive record, and that he voted to allow child molesters to be around our kids. This is how, and there's no basis of fact for these allegations, but it didn't matter. This stuff went out, and no matter how hard he worked, he didn't have that support, that level of support. So that was the Republican Party in New Mexico just wanted to hold on to that seat, and they did. So, they looked at it as Powdrell's. They let Powdrell's seat go because they looked at that as destabilized, but they were not going to let 44 go. They were not going to let it.
I say this though, I live in Kathleen's thing, and we were inundated, my parents and I, with anti-Kathleen mailers almost every day for the last 35 days. And they would say things that Kathleen was in favor of, and then it's like she was already in the legislature.
They didn't say that.
That she had voted for something that was going to add 50 cents to the gas, and when I looked up the bill, it hadn't even gotten out of committee. And it wasn't 50 cents, it was 10 cents a year to do some kind of thing for electric or something. But it never got out of committee. And I really think what Kathleen and her campaign did was extraordinary because she had name recognition, Jane Hargrove. And, I think it's going to be easier for Kathleen next time. She's going to establish herself. But the Republicans wanted that seat too. The Republicans wanted that seat
Yeah,
too.
they did. And
they didn't get it.
Yay! So next up, HD 57, Michelle Sandoval. She got 48% of the vote. Yeah.
That's
470 vote difference. Yeah. I do want to point out that district in particular is in play, so I'm happy to hear that Michelle's going to run again. Keep in mind, Billy Keelan ran the last 2 times in that district, and at one point, she didn't have help from the caucus, and she came within 220 votes, and then she did have help from the caucus, and she came within 300-ish votes. So, so that district is turning more and more blue. We're having more and more possibility. We just need to work it more.
But Harper was brutal.
What?
With his lies against.
Oh, Harper, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was such a religious person, and yet he was just.
Yes, yeah. We know that, being religious doesn't necessarily
Right.
be nice. So as I mentioned, the Republicans have 3 House seats in our county. And somebody said, well, what about Josh, is it Josh Hernandez? So, saw Pamela Herndon and, Joy Garrett and, no, last night at David's house.
Cynthia Regal?
No, not Cynthia Borrego. Who was the redhead? She's out here. Rourke? No.
Joanne Rourke?
No. Anyway, it's escaping me. Anyway, they had one question. When are you going to get rid of Jason Harper now? You got to get rid of Jason Harper in a few years. No, not Jason Harper. Josh Hernandez.
Yeah.
Josh Hernandez. We couldn't find anybody to run against him. So,
Judy's raising her hand.
Judy's not. She's in Ramon's district. She's in Ramon's district. So, last time when we were looking for candidates, I went to the Veterans Caucus. I went to the African American Caucus. And so we're going to just try to shake the caucuses again and try to find people out here, and labor, right? We're going to go with labor, which we did last time too. So we're just going to keep trying. If you think of anything new, let me know. So anyway, we couldn't find a candidate for HD60. So just knowing that this is preliminary data, it's not finalized yet. What can we learn? What can we glean from what we have? So, first of all, as I mentioned, the elections were closer than we wanted any of them to be, right? So that means we can't take our foot off the gas. We have to keep on it. And Kathleen Kate said at the Women's Federation meeting that she was told that once she wins, she has to continue her campaign because she's got to run again in 2 years. So she has to be constantly in campaign mode for the next 2 years. Do you know where she was yesterday?
Where?
The Veterans Parade. Yeah, because I didn't have the energy for that. And you guys, I was still licking wounds, right? So yeah, we need to keep focused. We need to keep on the pressure. We need to not have margins this close. Rio Rancho is a problem. It continues to be a problem. The reason it's a problem is there are more registered Republicans than Democrats, and the decline to states vote red. Saw Bob Pearls last night, and he said, oh, well, the key to winning in Rio Rancho is the decline to states. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's what he is.
Because that's what he is, yeah. So I don't think that's the key, because DTS is breaking about 40% blue, so that's an issue. We continue to suffer from a huge lack of volunteers, and I'm preaching to the choir here because all you guys are here. I've seen all you guys throughout this campaign cycle. You've all been active. You're all volunteering, but we have huge sections of our county that are not organized, and they're in Rio Rancho, where 2/3 of the vote is. We have 2/3 of the vote in Rio Rancho. So we need to, within this next year, I'm going to say, find more precinct chairs, ward chairs, activate our ward chairs to help us find precinct chairs. We need to work yesterday. We can't take a lot of time off, guys. We just can't. How do we get these people to step up? How do we find them? How do we convince them that working for free is great? Right? How do we convince them that, that we're a quirky bunch and we say some weird stuff sometimes, but really we're nice people and, we believe like you do. How do we do that? What do we do? How do we become more inclusive? That's the big task ahead of us. So, I guess this might not be a good time to ask you, do we want to even have first Friday and second Saturday in December?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay, so I was just talking about being more inclusive and more active, and you guys are all shaking your head no.
No, because everybody's going to be scattering into the winds.
Yeah, I agree. So I think what we might do is have a gathering with no featured speaker, but just meet at our regular time for a lunch. And maybe that's how we do it, and we're just, together. because that's what we seem to do best, I think. Yeah, does that sound good to everybody?
That sounds good.
All right, and then we'll hit it hard in January. I don't know how yet, but we will. Got a couple months. So, any questions or comments? Yes.
I would like to acknowledge the poll workers,
Yes.
particularly my neighbor, who I'm so
Yay!
proud of.
Thank you for that, Mary. I want to tell you that our voter protection group did an amazing, phenomenal job. Mitch Friedman was one of our on-call attorneys. Thank you very much. As well as Damon Eli and attorney, I can't remember his first name, Julio Romero? Yeah. So we had 3 attorneys driving around the county making sure everything was good. And we overcame huge odds to get this group going because we literally started to train people and to get enough volunteers after early voting started. So this came together incredibly fast, and Laura Stokes, bless her heart, spearheaded everything. So I'm going to meet with her this week sometime, and we're going to talk about what worked, what didn't, and what we could do, what we learned, and how to make things better. But I think maybe that might also be an arm for our lessons learned task force. So that's great. Thank you for mentioning that. Any other questions or comments?
I do, you know, the paid poll workers were wonderful, but the challengers and the watchers, and, you know, I was way the heck out there in the middle of nowhere, Joe Harris Elementary, and the Republican Party still had a watcher and a challenger there. So they were organized, so they had people, and they're just mean. They're just mad dogging me the whole time.
You know, Karen Schaefer was also a poll watcher, and she made friends with a Republican poll watcher, and she said, of course we didn't talk politics. So I think some of them are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I found out that you can have up to 5 people.
It depends on the population of the catchment area.
Okay.
We could have had 8 where I was, in Shannon Hills. We had a couple here, a couple there.
It's kind of fun to do, though. I mean, it's kind of fun to watch and make sure that things are going the way they should.
Yeah.
And encourage people to do it.
Great. Thank you. Kitty?
Did our friend Jay ever respond to your request to have her complain about that Republican?
Yes, she did.
And what was did they take?
I don't know.
Okay.
They'll get back to her and she's out of town. One of the things that we did also, and we did it, it was successful, but we did it kind of small, in small groups, is the first day of early voting, I put an email out and I said, come vote with us. And we all, not all of us, but there was about 12 of us, 12 or 14 of us, because a staffer for Teresa Ledger Fernandez brought her family, so that was awesome. There were about 14 of us who turned out at the county admin building to vote together, and that was fun. Right? We all met outside and we went in and we all signed up and we all voted and then we all got our stickers and then we all went, yay! And, you know. So that felt kind of good, and I know that Judge Reichstack and Bonnie, you guys organized that in Corrales also, and that I heard was a great success. And so I'm hoping that that's something that will continue, because I think that's one of our strengths is that we are a supportive, loving, and kind political family. And that's one way for us to show it. Anything else? Yes.
Just an observation and a compliment, okay? You know, I've been here just 2 years, okay? But I've been involved in Democratic politics for 50 years in other states. And this, you know, if you look at what happened nationally in blue states that were very blue and didn't have abortion on the ballot for all practical purposes, you ran counter to that. I mean, look at what happened in New York, you know, look at what happened in some other states. And so, without the abortion issue propelling turnout, with the presumption that the governor was going to win, with all the polls given that direction, there was a lot of reason for people to just be lethargic and not show up and not work it. But it was the hard work of you and others in this room that got the numbers out that made a difference. And I came from a county that is very similar to this one. It's Johnson County, which is a suburban county of Kansas City on the Kansas side. You know, the 3rd district, which is that congressional district, took forever, you know, to finally flip on over Democratic. But now it is. And it's taken a lot of years. You know, the abortion issue in Kansas helped a lot. Got Laura Kelly elected as governor in a very red state. And so, you know, no two counties are totally analogous. I mean, you can't.
Right.
You've got other, sections and, and different issues. But I'm watching the growth here, and it reminds me of what took 10, 12 years to grow back there in Johnson County, Kansas. But I really wanted to make the observation that against the odds, you know, against the odds of the abortion issue not on the ballot, against the odds of the presumption of what the statewide result would be. Did a phenomenal job here in this county.
We have great people here. All of you guys are awesome. You're amazing. And our field organizer was stellar.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for all your hard work. A couple of 3 things. The 3 main races that we've talked about today we've lost were strictly Rio Rancho candidates. The ones that reached out elsewhere, of course, statewide or into Corrales, for instance, and Casitas and Bernalillo. Rio Rancho's our problem, as you said earlier. One of the other things, and I'm not picking on all of us, I see a lot of gray hair in this room, and I don't see but a couple of 3 that maybe don't have, are not close. Do we have any son-in-laws? Do we have any daughter-in-laws? Do we have any daughters? Do we have any sons, nephews? Somewhere we've got to reach out and bring some younger blood into this organization, especially in Rio Rancho, because we cannot continue just relying on the same old people. I do know you talked about Josh Hernandez. I'm not sure who ran his campaign or would have run his campaign if he had a opponent, but I know who he worked for, and I know how effective they are. They ran the Sandoval Regional Medical Center's mill levy, and boy, they are effective. They know exactly who's going to vote and who's not going to vote. They really have the ability to target them. They are a nationwide organization, and I'm sure that that's who's run Mayor Hall's race and Josh's, and I don't know if they ran Jay Block's or not, but they're all in pretty good buddies, except Jay and Meredith along. Other than that, anyway, I just think we really need to think about young people. We don't have many.
Nope. I agree.
About the ball stuff.
Yeah, a lot of you know I have a 22-year-old son, and I'm happy he votes. But that's about it. But he's busy, making his way, so, and he's doing good, so, yes.
We got a comment about the young thing.
Oh, stand up, young thing.
As the resident young person, yes. I think the truth is we need to make this more accessible, like Alex already talked about, but an issue that I have been looking at lately and kind of witnessing firsthand is, unfortunately, it's a money thing. We need to stop calling our millennials and our Gen Zs entitled. They want to earn a living wage because they need to be able to pay their rent. They need to be able to pay food. So what we need to do is work on getting young people out, yes, but not getting young people out to take advantage of them. Not getting young people out to tear them down to their very most like bottom things by volunteering all their time and asking them to volunteer all their time. We need to let them know that we value them, and we need to work on that. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that is, young people will come, but you have to give them a reason to. There are probably a lot of people in this room who have more money in the bank than I do. I think that's a fact. So I need to work to pay my bills, and I was really fortunate to find a way to do that here. I think the reason we don't see a lot of young people is because I had to work extraordinarily hard to find a way to pay my bills doing this job, and now I don't have a way to pay my bills anymore. So we need to figure out a way to support our young people, but more than that, to facilitate them into paid positions, or at least positions that give them some sort of incentive to start being active in the community. That's all I got.
Over here? Oh, sorry. Is there somebody over there that I missed? Oh, Michelle's next, yeah.
Okay, because I want to say what Haley said and say that in triplicate. When you look at the numbers across this country, I am 65 years old, and I can't wait for my generation to get the hell out of the way. Because we voted as a majority almost 30 points for Republicans. And the reason Democrats are winning in places they didn't think was because 18 to 30 was nearly 30 pro for Democratic. And my advice, if I had a chance to get into a room with Michael Bennett, Mark Kelly, and Mastow, is that they better start listening to young people. Don't shit on the kids when they want their student debt paid. And, get singles for their arms, so they don't have to worry about where they work to get medical care. And it's exactly what she said. Like, I'm the boomer that hates boomers, because I know how badly my generation, I've stuck out like a sore thumb as the socialist guy, the New Deal guy, and I just think that we have to really give, in this state, if you saw what was happening on the day of the election, there was a photo, I think you put it up, or somebody put it up, of all these kids getting same-day registration at UNM. And don't think that some of those votes didn't help Gabe Vasquez. They did. And I don't know what the numbers were in Rio Rancho. It would be interesting to really drill down and see what 18 to 35 was. And so these kids, they are working their butts off trying to get by. Rents keep going up. This state legislature, if they really want to win in 2024, there's going to be more young people. And a few of my generation may finally die. And stay out of the way. But my point is, the majority of people in this room are good people. But the majority of people who are boomers and older have voted badly for 50 years. And so all I'm trying to say is that in 2024, if Kathleen and other new people listen to the young people, be bold, be progressive, it's popular, it's the reason Biden was able to get young people to the polls was because of that student debt relief. He went up 6 points in his approval rating when he announced that. So all I'm trying to say is this. It's the young people, we have to earn it, just like Haley says. And then they'll come out when we give them more time, and we pay them better, and we help them. We have to care for our kids, not make fun of them for not using a rotary phone. Because nobody uses a rotary phone. It's irrelevant. You might as well say that we should learn how to ride a chariot. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mitchell.
So go at it.
Yeah.
You're right, You're right.
Michelle wanted to speak in the back, all the way by the window, yeah. Thank you.
Hello. I do want to agree with Haley in that I was fortunate enough to actually run because I work in a place that would support me and I could maintain my salary at. So having a job at Los Alamos Labs, I had the opportunity to run for office because obviously the legislative positions are not paid. So you can't really run for something that you can't support a family off of or you can't support yourself off of. And not only that, if you're taking the time and effort, which could be a year to a year and a half of running a campaign, to gamble your career on, say you're running for Linda's position, that's really a lot of a risk to take. And I know millennials can have a tendency to be risk takers, but we also are all just trying to develop our careers. So the gamble of the politics, when it comes down to 51 to 49%, is really unsettling and uneasy when you're trying to step into a political avenue so early on. So I understand that that can be an issue, but it's also something that if we can show that we're here for support, we're here for options, we have paid positions, we have alternatives to bring young people in, that's definitely the avenue that we need to take. And I do think that going forward between now and 2024, we do need to make it an effort maybe to do more events where we work with 18 to, or like straight 18 to 25-year-olds just to get registered, because it's an issue that they're not even registered to vote. So if we can host events and to get them known, to get the word out there that this is where it starts is so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. I want to also make sure to highlight the fact that our legislature is unpaid, and they have $100 a day per diem. Go stay in Santa Fe overnight, pay for your food and your hotel room and your transportation. Okay, maybe you can take the rail runner for $100 a day. So that is automatically lawyers, teachers, and people who are retired. Anything else? Everybody's got their food. No one else wants to talk? Oh, Naomi.
All right, this may be controversial, but I'm open to that.
My observation is that, and I may be wrong, so please correct me, that the churches in Rio Rancho are grooming Republican candidates.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm not suggesting we infiltrate or look up. It's difficult for me as a Jew to go to a Mormon church, but anyway, I really have observed that. And I don't know whether it takes having conversations with these people, or having heard about DeSantis honing in and focusing on the school board candidates who have no experience with education. Most of them are lay people. And that's how they all won in Florida. And then I put two and two together and I realized there's a huge correlation between, and I hope I'm not offending anybody, but between evangelicals and being a Republican. And I don't know what we can do about this, whether we can all just join the churches and start letting them know. I don't know. But it's just my observation that there's a strong support coming from the churches in Rio Rancho. Because I was trying to figure out, coming from DC, that I moved from the DC area, why is Rio Rancho so red? And then I started reading about, how the churches were grooming these Board of Education, school board candidates. And it's starting to make sense. So I don't know, it's just an inquiry, but maybe if you have conversations with people from the churches, if you're part of a church in Rio Rancho, it could be something that we can, and
There's a church on every corner.
Jim wants to say something.
Yeah, just a question in terms of, you got a lot of data, people who looked at prior data and you're going to look at this data. My observation coming from far, okay, not that far, is that Rio Rancho isn't red and blue, it's gray. It is a lot of people that move in that don't register, that don't participate. They live kind of secluded in large development areas that are hard to work in the traditional way of door to door and so on. And a lot of transient in and out of people. So I don't know if the data supports that, but it seems to me that there's an awful lot of, I wouldn't even call them unaffiliated, I'd just say uninvolved people who aren't that engaged in politics. Maybe they're a little older and their kids aren't in school, so they don't participate that way. There aren't that many kind of activities that draw people together, be it schools or sports or other things, parks. They're just kind of nomads in their car going to wherever it is that they're going.
Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're halfway between both, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and you know, it's interesting, these are interesting observations that, Jim, that you and Naomi have, but I would want to see data on it, because I need to know if it's just what we think we know.
Right. Yeah.
I want support for that,
Yeah.
before we say anything one way or the other, but, yeah, you know, to look at us, there's a lot of churches here, a lot of evangelical churches here. So,
One in each corner, I think. Yeah.
well, yeah. So, I don't know what the solution is there, because you would think that churches would, put forth Christian values where they're, you know, helping each other, helping people, and that's not what we see from the other side, so. One more comment from Donnie, and then we're gonna say, we're done. Did you have something to say?
I'm gonna kind of chime in with this gentleman's, what he was saying. If you look at the traffic in the mornings and the evenings, so the jobs are still on the other side of the river. And whenever people get up and leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock to go to work on the other side of the river, and they get home at 6:30 or 7, they don't participate in a lot of things. The arena is a good example of that, how it has always struggled, because people spend half of their day or more just doing work. So that river's a problem that we have a bottleneck there. It's not going to change. When I was on the commission, we looked at this a whole lot until we changed the direction of the traffic where they drive west in the morning and east in the evening instead of vice versa. People don't have a lot of time here to do a lot of things but just work. And it's another portion of the problem, to get people involved, get them interested, get them to look at the candidates, get them to look at the issues. They're pretty well locked in.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. So, good job. Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I just have a quick comment. One is, you said about young people, we need policies that just second that. The second comment I have is working at being a poll challenger. I noticed that the backup was for same-day registration, and I don't know how to bring it up, but I know that the Republicans were extremely organized, and they had a chat room within their whole group, and they were telling me that there was big lines out here in Rio Rancho.
Yes.
And it was driven by only having one person available and one machine available to do same-day registration.
Yes.
That's absolutely true.
And
I heard that. I did hear that from Catherine Sherwood, who worked with the coordinated campaign, specifically Melanie Stansberry and the governor. She did tell me that happened. And so when I meet with Laura Stokes, that's going to be something that we discuss. And then what we will do is we'll pass recommendations on to our county clerk and our deputy county clerk, and just give them as helpful suggestions. So we'll see what we can do about that, but I think what we need to do, from what I'm hearing from everybody, is that we need to have better training, earlier training, consistent training, and better resources for our poll challengers and our election judges, so that, you know, we need to be better connected, better organized. Because that was driven by DNC. They came in after early voting started.
it would be better.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everybody, good job. So, be of good cheer, and know that we will meet for First Friday at the Range of Berlin. Leo, the first Friday in December. There will be no program. It'll just be, hey, let's have lunch. I think I'm going to send an email out. We're probably going to adopt a PB&J family. So anybody who wants to donate to help them have a nicer holiday, that'd be great. And the same thing for second Saturday. So I'll still reserve the spaces, but we won't have a program. Okay? All right. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
And you guys know that, I bet you probably said that before I came, but really, I wouldn't have done this job, honestly, really, if Alex and Donnie and Laura truly didn't get us all together. Thank you, Alex. I don't know, I'm not saying thank you, Alex, tirelessly. I can tell you, when I was down, Alex is who I called continually. This is the person I said, first of all, where am I supposed to be? What's going on? And we said all that stuff. It's also been the biggest cheerleader for all the candidates.
Thank you,
Thank
Alex.
you.